What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. Today I have a pretty awesome product for you guys. This is known as the Cozmo from Anki, who make a pretty variety of interesting toys, and this video is also brought to you guys by Anki, so go ahead and check out the link below so you can see all the awesome things they make, and you can also find them on Amazon and a bunch of other sites as well. But today's focus is of course the Cozmo. It is a smart robot. In fact, it's so smart it can actually go and recognize your face. You can drive it around because it has these cool little treads, and you can also go and make it pick certain things up. But the fact is that this thing gets even better because the SDK is actually open to developers, and developers can actually go and mess around with everything. The coding language is Python, so my whole point here is that if you are an older student, you might get a kick out of this as much as maybe your 3 or 4-year-old kid as well. Now don't worry, both demographics have their own set of awesomeness when it comes to this thing, but let's go ahead and talk about it overall. So first of all, it's pretty durable. Apparently has 300 plus parts just to design and build this thing, and it can do a pretty awesome amount of things. Like I said, there's a whole game where it recognizes your face, but did I mention that it can actually recognize your face and then say your name as well? That's right, you can actually train it to recognize your face and connect it with your particular name, and it can actually say that particular name. Now of course it also comes with 3 cool little cubes, a charging dock, and a pretty solid internal battery, and the battery life lasts a pretty nice amount of time as well. You can play with this for hours on end. Now with that said, these blocks are interactive, so it can go and pick them up. It can serve as food, it can serve as an objective, it can serve as whatever you need it to serve as, depending on what you are doing with your Cozmo. Now, as I said, you can code using Python, and you can mess with it in anything from Windows to Linux to Mac itself, and it does come with an application as well, which is available for both iOS and Android. The coolest thing about the app is that it just recently got a complete overhaul that takes things to the next level. You can feed it now, you have to maintain it, and it just makes it so it's not just some toy that you got for your kid and they're gonna have fun with it for one day and then leave it lying around for who knows how many days to come. Nope, that's not the case. This application basically forces your kid to turn this into somewhat of a dog. And the reason for this is that, there's a lot of kids out there that are like, oh, I really want a dog or a pet or something of that sort, and you just feel they're not ready for that just yet. So instead, you can get them a cool little robot that, if you take care of it, it's going to be really happy, and it's going to show you some epic emotions because this thing has a cool little 168 times something display in front of it. Now, the display on it is pretty awesome. It has 2 eyes, and the eyes aren't creepy at all. In fact, they're really, really human-like. And the reason for this is that they can reflect certain emotions depending on what you do to it. If you throw it, it's going to show hurt. If it falls, it's going to show annoyance. If you push it, it's going to be like, well, what are you doing? And maybe if you push it enough, it'll even show you anger. It can do all these cool little emotions, and the freedom is all yours. You can make up certain emotions, and you can even code it to do other things should you choose to do so. But the main aspect here is that, you can sort of watch it roll around and drive around and maybe put it on a table and watch it go to the edge and watch it low-key freak out as it sees the edge and goes, whoa, I probably should not go there. It's just really fun to watch it react. It moves around. You can play with it for as long as you want, but what if we could take it to the next level? Well, we can with the application that's available for both iOS and Android. And the reason for this is that the application itself has mini games inside of it, and as I said, now you can actually take care of it, and this is also where you can access the SDK and access a bunch of other cool settings as well. Now, before we get to that, I do want to mention something cool. The overall design of this thing is also really, really amazing. It kind of feels like it's a robot in a way. It kind of reminds me of WALL-E. I don't know how many of you guys have seen that movie. If you haven't, you should totally watch it. The way it reacts, the way it kind of moves around, it really reminds me of WALL-E, and it kind of sounds like it too. So if you guys really liked that movie and always wanted a miniature version, then this is probably the way to go. But, this is the next level because, you can actually play games with it. So, what exactly can you play? Well, as you can see, these cubes are pretty awesome, and the reason for this is that the cubes actually have cool little LED lights that glow different colors inside of them, and they also have their own little battery built inside of them as well. So the Cozmo can actually go and sense these and, you know, pick them up, stack them on top of each other, and even roll them over, which is one of the many things that you can do when you go and play with it. There's also other little games like, you know, fist bump, and there's even one of my most favorite games, and this one's known as keep away. So basically you try to go and touch it, and it tries to get away from you as fast as it possibly can. My only suggestion is please don't play this on a table, because, you know, it might go flying. It's not gonna break. As I said, it's pretty durable, but you don't want to get a scratch on an expensive toy, a really expensive toy. This brings me to my next point. The only thing that might be a little frustrating for some people is the fact that this thing comes in at around $200. Okay, a little less than that, like $179, but let's be real, it's around $200. And the reason for this is that, you know, it can do a variety of things. That's its own app, and schools are going to be using this as well, not just the average kid out there. And so, you know, they priced it pretty well. But I do want to mention something. On Amazon, it actually has almost a 5-star rating, and that's after 1,300 people went and left their review. So you know what, people are relatively content with this. If you would like to see other people's opinions, go ahead and check out the Amazon link that I'll leave below as well. Last but not least, I want to go ahead and talk about the overall setup and of course the application, the newer application that is. And the first thing you do is disconnect from your own Wi-Fi and connect to Cozmo's own little Wi-Fi network. It's pretty easy to find. It's called Cozmo 123 whatever. And afterwards, it will connect all on its own, and it'll bring you to a screen that says that Cozmo has needs. Care for him every day to keep him happy, and he'll actually show you when he's happy. So every day you can see these 3 little bars. The first one stands for Tune Up, and you actually have to tune Cozmo up by playing a little mini game to maybe tune up his head and adjust it, or maybe his lift needs collaboration, or maybe his treads need to be aligned. Now, how exactly do you need to do that? Well, don't worry, you don't need to bust out the tools or anything of that sort. You simply play a little mini game of arrows inside of the application itself, or some other mini game. This is the only one we're looking at right now, and in this case you'd hit up, up, down, down, and so on and so forth. And after a while you do this a few times, and the lift will be collaborated. How cool is that? But that's not all. He's not happy yet. There's also 1 or 2 other things you need to do. In this case, you do need to go and feed your Cozmo as well. Now, again, I said compare this to a dog. So what happens when you wave around a bone at a dog? He gets all jumpy and happy, right? Well, the same thing happens to Cozmo when you wave around one of the cubes. So in this case, a bone or food would be the cube, and you wave it around, and Cozmo notices it and really wants it. So then you place it on the table or floor or ground or carpet, whatever you're on, and Cozmo will go to it, nibble on it for a little bit, and afterwards his little blue bar will fill up all the way, saying he is completely fed. And last but not least, you know, just like a dog, you do need to play with it every once in a while so it doesn't get sad. You don't need to walk it, but you do have to play a mini game. In this case, you can make him roll over a cube. You might even be entertained watching it. So you put a cube in front of him while this screen is in play, and afterwards he will go and roll it over. Now, there's a bunch of these small little tasks, and you can play with a different one every single day. They're super fun, and hopefully you guys enjoy while you play with it as well. As I mentioned before, there's other tricks like stacking cubes and pushing cubes and all that cool stuff. But for now, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If so, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. My overall consensus, I give this a 10 out of 10. So much potential for this to be a massive hit when it comes to school districts buying these, and because they are cheaper than some of the Lego things that others use, and it can do a lot more because of the emotion and the camera that's built into it and the motion sensors and all that. People are gonna love this thing, especially if you are a low-key developer for schools. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If so, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. This is going to be me logging off.